The Rocky Mountains are home to some of North America's most iconic wildlife. And while most wildlife encounters end without incident, some animals demand a little more caution than others. By understanding how these animals behave, recognizing warning signs, and knowing how to react, you can greatly reduce your chances of having a bad encounter. And today we're looking at some of the most dangerous animals in the Rockies, and how to stay safe if you encounter them. The Rocky Mountains stretch for nearly 3,000 miles, from northern New Mexico through the western United States and into Canada.
Huh. I expected the Rocky Mountains to be a little rockier than this.
This massive mountain chain contains everything from alpine forests and high mountain valleys to deserts, grasslands, and river systems. It's one of the most wildlife-rich regions in North America. And if you spend enough time hiking, camping, or exploring these landscapes, there's a good chance you might encounter some of them. When people think of dangerous animals in the Rockies, they usually picture bears or cougars. But depending on where you live, moose may actually be more dangerous than both of them. And honestly, it makes sense. Moose are the largest members of the deer family. Bulls can stand over 6 feet tall at the shoulder and weigh well over 1,000 pounds. They're found throughout much of the Rocky Mountain region, especially near forests, rivers, lakes, and wetlands. Despite their size, many people don't see moose as being dangerous. But that assumption could get people into trouble. Most attacks happen when a moose feels threatened, cornered, or is protecting a calf. And during the fall rut, bull moose can also become far more aggressive than normal. One of the biggest mistakes people make is getting too close.
Go ahead, try. Go ahead, try. See what happens. Fucking idiots. Get him. Yeah, get him. Yeah. Get him. Get him.
Fortunately, moose often give warning signs before they charge. Ears pinned back, raised hair along the shoulders, lowering the head, or repeatedly licking the lips can all signal that a moose is becoming agitated. If you notice these behaviors, the best thing you can do is back away and create distance. But if a moose does charge, do not stand your ground. Put a tree, a vehicle, a fence, or any other obstacle between yourself and the moose as quickly as possible. They are not predators, so it's okay to run away. Another dangerous situation is a moose getting hit by a vehicle. With their really tall legs, a regular-sized car hitting a moose is always a bad situation, as the moose could go right through the windshield. But moose aren't the only herbivore in the Rocky Mountains that people underestimate. In fact, the next animal on our list injures more visitors in Yellowstone than any other animal. Despite their nickname, buffalo, these animals are actually bison. They are found throughout parts of the Rocky Mountain region, including Yellowstone National Park, some areas in South Dakota, and oddly enough, in Utah's Antelope Island. The American bison is the largest land mammal in North America. Actually, the largest in all of the Americas. Large bulls can weigh close to a ton. They're grazing herbivores that spend much of their time feeding, resting, and moving with the herd. Many visitors in Yellowstone see bison standing quietly in a field and assume it's basically a giant cow. But bison are wild animals, and they can react incredibly quick when they feel threatened, crowded, or stressed. Or if they just feel like chasing someone, like this guy. And one of the biggest mistakes people can make is getting too close. The recommended closest you should ever get to a bison is 25 yards. And that's still pretty close. But every year in Yellowstone, park visitors ignore warning signs, walk into herds, or try to take selfies with animals that can outweigh a small car. Or be like this dumbass and try to touch one.
A man has gotten out of his car and starts taunting the massive animal. People watching in horror.
Oh no, oh no, oh no.
And if that wasn't enough of a close call, he taunts the bison some more.
Oh God, no, I can't watch it.
Remarkably, the man escapes uninjured and begins walking away. The bison loses interest and doesn't turn back.
Dumbass.
Bison often give warning signs before becoming aggressive. Pawing at the ground, snorting, shaking their heads, or acting visibly agitated can all indicate that an animal is becoming uncomfortable with your presence. If you encounter a bison, the safest thing you can do is give it plenty of space and never approach it for a selfie. The damage isn't that bison are constantly looking for conflict. The danger is that people just forget how wild they are. You do not want to get gored by a bison. While moose and bison are dangerous because we can get too close to them, when it comes to our next animal, they often get into trouble because they come too close to us. Black bears are the most common bear species in North America and can be found throughout much of the Rocky Mountain region. Adult males can weigh several hundred pounds. Things get interesting here. Despite their name, black bears, they're not always black. Throughout the Rocky Mountains, many black bears are actually brown or cinnamon colored, which can make identifying them a little more difficult. Despite their reputation, black bears generally want nothing to do with people. So why are they on the list? Because black bears are incredibly intelligent and adaptable animals. A bear that finds natural food in the forest is usually not a problem. But a bear that learns humans mean garbage, pet food, bird feeders, coolers, or campsite snacks can quickly become much more dangerous. Leaving food unattended, storing garbage improperly, purposely feeding them, or keeping food in a tent can all attract bears and teach them that people are a source of easy calories. Fortunately, black bears often provide warning signs before becoming aggressive. Huffing, swatting the ground, jaw popping, or bluff charging can all indicate that a bear is stressed or uncomfortable. If you encounter a black bear, remain calm, make yourself appear large, speak firmly, and slowly create distance. And most importantly, do not run. Black bears can run a lot faster than you, and if you run, you might trigger a predator response. You've probably heard the saying, if it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lie down. If it's white, good night. But there's a reason that saying exists. While bear encounters are far more complicated than a simple rhyme, the basic idea is that black bear attacks are more likely to be predatory. The reason it's black fight back is because you might be fighting for your life. Predatory attacks are extremely rare, but they have happened. But the safest black bear is often a bear that never learns to associate people with food in the first place. Well, let's move on to their larger cousins, the grizzly bear. The grizzly bears in the Rockies are a subspecies of the brown bear, and they have one of the best Latin names of any animal, Ursus arctos horribilis. That's a dope name. And the reason why it's black fight back and brown lay down, you have a chance against a black bear. You have no chance against a grizzly bear. So you might as well lay down and play dead. Hope it all works out for you. Grizzlies are larger and more powerful and generally less likely to back down from a confrontation. In the Rockies, large males can weigh over 800 pounds, and they remain one of the most iconic animals in the Rocky Mountain region. Today, they're most commonly found in Yellowstone, Montana, and the Northern Rockies in Canada. A grizzly isn't normally trying to hunt you. It's reacting to what it perceives as a threat. Many incidents occur when hikers surprise a bear at close range, or stumble upon a carcass, or accidentally get too close to a mother with its cubs. Grizzlies often provide warning signs before an attack. Huffing, jaw popping, bluff charging, and defensive posturing can all indicate that a bear is stressed and wants more space. The best way to avoid a dangerous encounter is to prevent one from happening in the first place. Make noise while hiking. Stay alert in dense vegetation. Carry bear spray in grizzly country. And never approach cubs or a bear feeding on a carcass. That one seems obvious. Despite their fearsome reputation, most grizzly encounters end without injury. The goal isn't to fear grizzlies, it's to respect them. Because when an animal weighing several hundred pounds decides it needs more space, giving it that space is usually the smartest decision you can make. Seriously though, carry bear spray. It could save your life. If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lay down. If it's white, you're f***ed. Of course, not every dangerous animal in the Rockies announces its presence. The next animal on our list is famous for the exact opposite. If a cougar decides to watch you, there's a good chance you'll never even know it's there. Cougars, also known as mountain lions, pumas, catamounts, panthers, they're an animal of many names. That's because they have one of the largest distributions of any wildcat in the world, and can be found throughout much of the Rocky Mountain region. They live all the way from northern Canada to Argentina. Now their size depends on which region they live in, and they tend to be a bit bigger in the Rocky Mountain region. Adult males can weigh over 150 pounds, even up to 200, and they're powerful enough to take down prey much larger than themselves. Cougars are ambush predators. They rely on stealth, patience, and surprise to hunt deer and other prey. And that's what makes them unique on this list. A cougar's greatest weapon isn't its size or strength, it's the fact that it's incredibly difficult to see. Fortunately, attacks on humans are very rare. There's only a handful of attacks every few years, but sometimes they can be fatal to the human. But when encounters do occur, certain situations can increase the risk. Small children are more vulnerable than adults, and running can trigger a predator's instinct to chase. If you encounter a cougar, do not run. Do what this guy did in Provo Canyon in Utah.
No! No! You, dude.
Also swear at it and call it names. They don't really like that. And if an attack does occur, fight back. Unlike some larger predators, many people have successfully driven off attacking cougars by fighting back aggressively and using whatever tools or objects were available. In fact, most people who spend time in cougar country will never even see one, which may be the most impressive thing about them. These cats live around us, yet most of the time they remain completely invisible.
Yeah, get the away from me.
The next animal on our list is much easier to spot, assuming you remember to look where you're stepping.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
These venomous pit vipers are among the most recognizable reptiles in North America. Several species of rattlesnakes can be found throughout the Rocky Mountain region, inhabiting deserts, grasslands, foothills, canyons, and rocky terrain. Unlike all the animals we've discussed so far, the danger posed by a rattlesnake is obvious: venom. If somebody calls a rattlesnake poisonous, correct them, it's venomous. My number one pet peeve in all of animals. But there's something important to understand about rattlesnakes. They want absolutely nothing to do with you. In fact, many bites occur because the snake feels threatened or because a person attempts to handle or interact with it. People are often bitten while reaching under rocks, stepping over logs, wandering off trail, or placing their hands somewhere they can't see. You've probably also heard that baby rattlesnakes are more dangerous than adults because they can't control how much venom they inject. While young rattlesnakes are certainly capable of delivering serious bites, experts generally consider this to be a myth. Adult rattlesnakes possess much larger venom glands, and there is little evidence to suggest that a juvenile snake is unable to regulate its venom use. Either way, the safest approach is the same. Fortunately, rattlesnakes often provide a really obvious warning sign before they strike. They coil into a defensive posture, raising the head, and of course rattling their tail are all signals that a snake feels threatened. That being said, not every rattlesnake uses its rattler before a strike. So never assume silence means safety. If you encounter a rattlesnake, stop. Give the snake some space and slowly back away. Do not attempt to touch it, move it, or kill it. Most rattlesnake bites are completely preventable. Leave the snake alone, allow it an escape route, and both of you will likely continue on your way without a problem. At least with the rattlesnake, you know what the danger is. But the final threat on our list is very different, because sometimes the most dangerous thing you could encounter in the Rocky Mountains is a virus. And that virus is rabies.
Rabies.
Rabies is a viral disease that attacks the nervous system of mammals. While cases are relatively rare in North America, rabies remains one of the deadliest diseases known to man. And that's what makes rabies so important to understand. Most wildlife behaves in predictable ways. Rabies changes all of that. As the virus attacks the brain and nervous system, infected animals may begin behaving strangely. They may become unusually aggressive, unusually fearless, confused, disoriented. Skunks, foxes, coyotes, raccoons, and other mammals can also carry the virus. That doesn't mean these animals are constantly spreading rabies. Far from it. In fact, the majority of wildlife is pretty healthy. But if you encounter an animal displaying unusual behavior, it's important to give it space and avoid direct contact. Bats deserve special attention here. In the Rocky Mountain region, bats are one of the animals most commonly associated with rabies exposure, but they should never be handled.
Fortunately, I have found it before.
Bat bites can sometimes be small and difficult to notice, which is one reason public health officials take potential bat exposures very seriously. If you are bitten or scratched by a wild mammal, or if you believe you may have been exposed to rabies, seek medical attention quickly. Do not ignore it. Once symptoms begin, survival is extremely unlikely. You do not want to die by rabies. Rabies used to be called hydrophobia because your throat swells up that you literally cannot drink water. The good news is that rabies is preventable when treated quickly. Symptoms could take days, weeks, months, possibly even years. The bad news is that once symptoms begin, options become extremely limited. You will die, and that's why awareness really matters. Rabies kills around 50,000 people a year worldwide. We are lucky that it's not as prevalent in North America. Maybe 1 to 3 people die from it every year. And the only way to save yourself is getting the rabies vaccine before the symptoms show.
Rabies is not a joke.
The Rocky Mountains are home to some incredible wildlife that share the landscape with us every day. The key is understanding the animals around you, respecting their space, and knowing how to react if an encounter does occur. And the vast majority of your encounters in the Rockies will end exactly the way they should, with both you and the animal walking away. I hope you learned something and enjoyed the episode. I plan on teaching a Rocky Mountain animal safety course, so let me know how this was. Be sure to like and subscribe, and remember, nature is random and chaotic. I will see you next time.
Rabies. Ugh.